some days it's bad, some days it's good. Like, we were going to a birthday dinner the other day, and I'm sitting in the back of the car having a panic attack for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's very uncontrolled, and that's the thing is, like, I think people that have anxiety understand it's like you do your best to function, and there are ups and downs, and that's part of it. Get it.
What's up, guys? Xavier here with you on the How'd You Do It podcast, and I'm hanging out with a guy you have been begging us to have on. Mike's dead.
So
he's finally here in the flesh. How are you, mate?
I'm great, man. Happy to be here.
Good. He's in the brand new studio. We're going to use this twice. I'm glad you got to experience, because we've got these big screens, because we're going to be able to play his brand new music video. Drew up today. It's kind of worked out well.
Yeah,
huh?
I put it out a couple hours ago.
Yeah. So it's like I saw it and I was like, oh wait, like why don't we? It's kind of like a little like a premiere. It just like worked out well. Like a publicist couldn't have worked this out better than what you have right now.
I'm super down. I'd love to see it on the LED.
That worked out well. So tell me, before we watch it, tell me a little bit about the song and the music video, man.
So I just put out an EP like a little under a month ago. Mm-hmm. It's just 3 songs, and originally we were gonna put it out for the single, which is way more poppy. It's called About You. But after polling a couple times, like through fans and seeing what everyone wanted, everyone was like, "Yo, we love this track," and I was like, "All right, bet." Yeah. That's my favorite one on the EP. It's like a little darker. I love like kind of darker, harder, like hip hop kind of music. Mm-hmm. So I was like, "All right, cool. You don't have to ask me twice." Yep. Like, I'm happy to shoot it. So we actually went. There's this place. It's called Murphy's Ranch. Mm-hmm. It's like a 30-minute hike in Santa Monica, basically, like through the mountains down to an abandoned Nazi campground.
Wow. Yeah. In Santa Monica.
Yeah,
there's an abandoned Nazi campground in Santa Monica.
That's where we shot it. Brought like my 2 like filmers, and yeah, I mean it was a terrible hike. By the time we got down there, I was dripping, sweating. So.
Sick. Should we watch it?
Sure. Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm down.
All right. So that was quick.
I got it up like that.
I was like, oh, all right then.
Yeah, so this whole thing, it took us like, I think 30 or 40 minutes to actually get down here. There's all these different spots in the actual campground. Like, this is the main house right here. And there's this huge water tower part too. But it was a simple like point and shoot music video, like not a plot or anything that.
For sure.
But my videographer Greg, who did this, is an amazing editor. So you can see like throughout the video, he does all these kind of trippy little like transitional edits. But he killed it. I'm super stoked with the result.
Damn, how did you find that location? How did you know about it?
I've actually shot a different music video there.
Right.
I shot this song I have called Jeepers Creepers. I shot this music video there previously, I think probably like almost a year ago.
Yep.
But it's not in this actual part of the actual campground. There's a second water tower that's higher up that has this flap of sheet metal ripped open, and we actually shot it inside the water tower in there.
Right. So
I've been here plenty of times.
Your fans will just never know it. Tell me about the lyrics of this song. How did it all come about?
Actually, the thing is, when I write music with Jake, I don't honestly work on music with a lot of people, because the way I look at it, it's a certain level of like emotional connection. Granted, this song is not very emotionally deep, but you can't like just be like, hey, you go in a room, make music. I mean, you can, but a lot of the times it's like you have to vibe with the person. You have to be kind of close enough to kind of let emotions go and be comfortable like being truly yourself around that person. Since I've known Jake for a couple years, it's super easy for us to just like be like, hey, I'm gonna say some deep shit on this. I'm gonna really go in on this. So this one, honestly, the lyrical content wasn't super great, or it wasn't like super deep. Sorry. But it we came out like Jake played the guitar on it, and I did all the drums and like the bass and all that stuff, and we're like, it just kind of came out rhythmically, like to get the hook out, and I was like, cool, all right, let's just kind of like go in and make this kind of like darker than we normally do. But I was super stoked to see the contrast between our verses. Jake's tonality is really like higher than mine.
Yeah, he's a lot different.
He's a lot different.
You got a deep voice.
I know. Especially like if I do like rap kind of stuff, it's very like chest voice versus like when I sing, it's very up here. So it's totally different, which is great because the versatility, right?
For sure. Where was this at a studio or is this at a bedroom?
We have a
job?
studio at our house.
Right.
We converted our whole garage.
Oh, so, and you guys live together?
No,
yeah.
not anymore.
Right.
We used to, but we converted our whole studio or our whole garage into a studio.
Right.
So we just record, like my roommate, Ariad, makes music as well. So we record all of our music in there, kind of just swap out. It's really nice. I used to have my own private studio, but at the same time, it's like the convenience factor of waking up 8 a.m, kind of chugging a coffee and being like, all right, we're going downstairs.
Yeah, not the longest commute, especially in LA.
Not bad at all.
All right, we can return to Laguna Beach now, Owen, if you want to do that. There we go.
I'm surfing again.
Yeah, we're back in the beach. All right, man. So as all of our fans know on this series, I usually, put together all my questions and ask you everything I think. We were so inundated with questions from the fans on this one that I thought I would just let them run this one. So I've picked out a couple of questions, I think about 10 or 15 that they've asked, and I'm going to make that the interview.
Dope.
How do you feel about that?
I'm all right with it.
All right, sick. All right, so first one is from Mike's Acid. He wrote, artist, I know you said you don't collab that much, but artists you'd love to collab with.
Oh, no, that's a different story. Love to work with Black Bear.
I'm a big Black Bear fan.
Dude, I love Bear. He's such a good, he's an amazing songwriter, such a good singer.
It's just so creative, right?
There's so many, the thing is there's so many genres of music I listen to. But bigger ones would definitely be Black Bear, Machine Gun Kelly, Halsey, Youngblood. If I could branch out and kind of go into the rock roots that I'm from, is Bring Me the Horizon, Devil Wears Prada, that kind of stuff, screamo bands, because that's what I grew up on. So I'm more I would love to work with them. But those are a couple names that of modern
sure. Well, you know what?
Bands.
I think someone's also asked what your 3 biggest inspirations are with your music, and I feel like you've just named them. But if you could put that in top three
biggest inspirations of all time.
Biggest inspirations, yeah.
Number 1, easy, Linkin Park. Favorite band of all time. Right. It's the first. My dad was a huge Linkin Park fan when I was growing up, and he was the one that got me onto them. And I remember I think he got me the CDs, and I'd listen to them on my old ass.
Hybrid Theory.
Yeah, Hybrid Theory. Meteora is my favorite album.
Right.
And I'd listen to them on my old ass.
You would have been what, about 5th or 6th grade?
Oh, I was young.
Right. Yeah.
But I love their sound.
So that would have been
oh yeah, literally. I was oh my god.
I remember listening to it. Yeah, when I was in early high school, middle school, and being the same.
Dude, I went it was the first concert I went to. I think I was in 6th grade.
Yep.
Linkin Park's number 1. The Gorillaz.
Really?
Gorillaz. Oh my god, I love them.
Wow. Okay.
That's the thing. I grew up on either very extremely different tastes.
Yep.
But from the production standpoint, looking back now, it's only 2 guys.
Yeah.
And they're producing, everything is all them.
Well, I'm trying to think of his name. Damon Albarn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally the fact that for me, I produce and write all my own music.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I can look at them and be holy shit. Their production's insane, but they still do everything themselves, and it's very in-house, and I'm that's amazing. Plus the music I love and resonate with. Yeah. And then the last would be Good Charlotte.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Good Charlotte, Simple Plan, kind of cut in half, because I love both of them, but probably the Madden Brothers, because their music's sick. And I honestly I don't listen to them too frequently, but I'll go back a year ago. I was taking a trip to Vegas. I was driving there. I was I'm gonna throw on some Good Charlotte, and I still knew all the words and lyrics of all these old ass CDs, and I was yep, this was my childhood.
Yeah, I did a lot of listening to them when I was young. It's funny how that happens, isn't it? All right, there it is. Top 3 inspirations. If you weren't making music, what would you be doing as a career?
I have no idea. My parents pushed me into business. I was the classic grade A student.
Really?
I had a 4.0 in high school. I don't look like it at all. I played sports, everything, and then built up that huge, resume for college. Went to a amazing academic school, and then I was just I hate this. This is not me, at all. So I have no idea what I would be doing whatsoever. Probably in a job that I don't like.
Yep.
That's it.
Respect. Okay. Gabriella Knight 319, thanks Gabby, wants to know, how did you know you wanted to do music?
I've been in love with music since I was a little kid, and I feel everyone kind of says that, which is kind of, don't want to be super generic, but it's like the one thing that kind of would cope me through anything. You know, I could be having a good day, awesome, I'm gonna listen to whatever. I'm gonna have a terrible day, awesome, I'm gonna go listen to this. Like, I need music throughout my day, or it starts to feel very empty. I don't like, I noticed this a couple years ago, I don't like quiet. Like, if you and I sit here for a couple seconds, I'm gonna say something because I need to break the silence.
Yeah.
I like music going on.
I too am that way.
Yeah. Just like, I like noise. So whenever I'm doing practically anything, I'm usually listening to music.
Right.
So it's,
What's your, do you have a main instrument, or is production your main instrument?
Production, piano. I play piano as well, but not like classically trained or anything. And then like, it depends on the song. Like, I have songs that I've played guitar on. I have songs that, you know.
And you said you played drum. You were talking about playing drums on the last one.
Yeah, so it's more programming, like you're kind of programming drums, but I can play like basic drums too, like on live. So it just depends. Having like the production knowledge is like kind of all you really need nowadays, because it's more like hip hop centered or like electronic centered.
Right, okay. Salem.Brock wants to know, how did you meet Kevin and Aria?
I met Kevin at a party. We talked about this on our live, because we used to do a live show. I thought Kevin was obnoxious at first, because he was vlogging the whole party. He's very loud. And now he's like my brother. He's like my best friend. But we met at a party, and like we said what's up. We didn't like really register like as like, oh, okay, like we're homies. And then I had my friend Ryan at the time that I've known since high school. He was like, hey, I'm putting a house together. We need some people. It's probably gonna be X, Y, and Z. And I met Aria out when we went out to like a bar or something like that. Similar kind of story. And I was like, he was like, yeah, it's gonna be me, you, Aria, Kevin, and my homie Sammy. And I was like, dope, they seem like dope dudes, let's do it. And then we didn't really all know each other that well. We just kind of moved in and we're like, cool. And now like Aria and Kevin and Ryan included are some of my like really close friends. Right. So it was super dope. Worked out really well. Easy.
This is from Colby Brochologist. Are there specific things that help you write songs? So I can
caffeine.
Yeah, caffeine. What about a certain mindset? Like,
I think there's a different thing with different artists. Like, I've heard two things. One is like, oh, I'm gonna write a song every day, and it's like, oh, out of those 10 songs, one of them is gonna be awesome. I'm not that person. I'm definitely like, I write a lot of music, but I have to have something that's sparking it. I have to have like this gut feeling like, yo, I'm gonna create something dope right now. Like, I can't just be like tired. It just
makes you see like, oh,
I'm just
wait.
gonna go in the studio and you
you
hear something, and you're like, oh, hold on, let me like, like it just comes out of nowhere. I usually can't write with other people in the room, because I'm too ADD. Yeah. I'm like watching what they're doing. I'm like looking around. So I just have to be in the right mindset. That's, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
But so coffee helps.
Caffeine, mindset. What about time of day? Like, is there anything you?
I would love to be like, oh, I've written a lot of my music. I have written the majority of my music more later in the night. You have those sessions where it's like, all right, I got here at 8 and now it's 5 in the morning and it's almost sunlight. But I've also written a lot of great music like middle of the day or early in the morning. Sure. Like, it's just one of those things. You hear something, you're like, whoop, boop, boop, beep, boop, and then everything leads to the next. Yeah, exactly. You're like, all right, well, here we go. Yeah. So it just depends.
Nice. All right. Next one. What motivates you to make music?
I think I've talked about this with a couple of my friends. It's when I was a kid, like, music had such an impact on me. Like I said earlier, like if I was in a good mood, bad mood, whatever mood I was in, I would listen to certain songs that were meant for certain parts of my headspace. And it made such an impact on me and like helped me get through a lot of things. And I'm like, yo, if I can do that for, I don't care, 5 people, then I'm making the right impact and I'm giving back in the sense that like, hey, I'm paying it forward. And for me, it's like the more of the impact, like beyond the stream numbers or the views or the likes on fucking Instagram or something like that. Like, doesn't equate to happiness for me. It's like the impact. And a lot of it I saw like when I started, I played a couple shows in July and I'm meeting people for the first time and people are like, they're like crying. I'm like, stop. Like, I'm like a normal person. Like,
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, I'm like, relax. Like, seeing the impact and hearing some of the stories that I was getting from some of these people, I was like, I was like on adrenaline high because I'm just like, this is amazing. Yeah. Because I was realizing basically the impact that I was making. So that is the number one thing of like why I do music.
Well said. Haven_Elaine has asked, how did you and Sam and Colby meet?
Sam and Colby, my good friends. So my roommate at the time, my friend Arya, who I talked about earlier, he has known them for a couple years, and they're good friends. And he would just like, invite them over like any other people. They're dope dudes, and they had a couple parties at their house that we'd go to, and I was like, yo, these guys are dope. Like, I didn't know what they did or really even care, because like for me, I don't really care what anyone does.
Sure.
I'm kind of like, yo, if you're a cool person, like, let's be friends.
Yeah, for sure.
So we just kind of started hanging out with them.
We need more of that in LA.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm from the East Coast, so I'm very like, yo, if you have good energy, I like you.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, the mic's right there, sorry. But yeah, after a while, like, I remember Jake, who was living at the house at the time, was like, yo, can you start helping me with some videos? And I was like, sure, I don't know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And from there, like, my roommate Kevin also does YouTube, so, he was shooting with them a lot, and we were kind of just going back and forth and hanging out with them a lot. Then after a while, they became like some of my really good friends. They've helped my career like a lot too, so that's, I have a lot to appreciate from them.
Yeah, for sure. I had Jake Weber on a few weeks ago.
Oh, tight.
As well, and he was telling me about the famous house parties at the Traphouse.
Oh.
What can you tell me about? Oh, actually, I had him and Tariami on there as well, and they were talking about how they met at one of the parties.
Yeah, I remember meeting Tara at the house.
Oh, really? What can you tell me about? I mean, I hear so much about the Traphouse. Like, what can you tell me about this place?
I mean, the parties were a lot of fun.
Yep.
I think we all low-key missed the parties because they had a huge house and they have a really extensive network of friends. And a lot of people just honestly show up through like the address getting passed around.
Yeah.
But it's a big open house.
Yeah.
Like it's at that point, like it was super fun.
Yeah.
It was a great place to like kind of like, in that, for me it's different because it's like that's the social media sphere. It's not like it's a bunch of musicians, but still it's a great way to like meet people and network and talk to people. So it was always fun, but I think we all low key missed the house.
Yeah. It sounds like I feel like I'd miss it too. Like, it sounds great.
Yeah. And it gave them more freedom to like do crazier videos too. I remember Jake would shoot like crazy videos in the backyard. Like they had a pool and everything. Like now they're all in like the apartment complex, which they all have insane apartments, but it's like, it's a difference because you got to keep in mind if they're shooting videos, there's other people in the building. Sure,
yeah. You can do a lot with a house.
Yeah,
exactly. There's a lot of room to move around.
Exactly.
For sure. That's cool, man. That's cool. All right. The _ Goldbrock has asked, what made you realize you wanted to make music as a career, and how old were you? I know these are overlapping a bit, but do you?
Yeah, overlap a little bit. I was in college, so I started like I'll try to like summarize the story and keep it short. I started as a hobby, like as a hard hobby, when I was 18. I downloaded Fruity Loops. I was like, beep, boop, boop, like literally making the worst beats you've ever heard in your entire, I still keep them on my laptop to like put myself in my place sometimes.
Ground myself.
And just go back and listen, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing I've ever heard. But at the time, I made like my warm-up tape for the lacrosse team. At the time.
All right.
Just like meshing songs together, and then that actually ended up getting adapted by like other teams, and like practically like half the school, like the wrestling team took it, the football team took it, and they're like, yo, this is sick. And then someone was like, you should DJ. And this was before like DJing, like EDM was a huge thing, and I was like, cool, let me do that. Got into it. After a while I went to college and then started getting gigs as a DJ, and I was like, oh, this is dope. And then teamed up with a friend of mine, Pat. And then we were DJing together for a while, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, Pat came out here. It was like, Pat was like, yo, I want to go to this school and we're going to learn how to produce and shit. And I was like, dude, same. I don't want to go to college. I hate this.
Yeah. What school did you go to out here?
It's called Icon Collective.
Okay,
it's
cool.
in Burbank.
Right.
And basically I was like, yo, I'm kind of down. Like, let's do it. Parents didn't want me to do that at all. But even my dad was like, yeah, I kind of saw this coming.
Yeah.
So I think I've always wanted to do music. Professionally, I would say like I've been doing it for 4 years. It took me a while to figure out exactly the route that I was going and what kind of music I wanted to make, etc.
Yep.
But other than that, it's kind of probably around when I was like 19 or 20.
Right. Okay. And well, speaking of which, what inspired the song "Used to It"?
Okay, so that's the EP.
Oh, sorry. No. What inspired "Used to It"? My bad. Sorry. And that's by
honestly, like there wasn't any.
Gordon.
There wasn't anything like crazy behind it. Like Jake and I just kind of write music, and it was all within the same kind of genre niche, if that
Yep.
makes sense. We're like, oh, we can just group this together as an EP. But we had talked about it because we were trying to figure out the name. We're like, yo, what do we do? And I found, I think I was on like Tumblr or something, and I found like Used to It on something, and I was like, yo, this would be a cool name. And we were trying to find the reasoning behind it because I had a separate interview that I had to talk about it as well. And basically, we're kind of like, Jake and I have, we go through a lot. I think musicians definitely kind of have a lot of things rolling through their head.
Sure.
And it was just kind of going through, whether it be like heartbreak or daily like just struggles. It was like, yo, I'm used to it. Like, it was that simple.
Yep.
We're like, yo, we've been dealing with this kind of shit since we were young.
Yep.
You get to a point where like you've gone through so much stuff that it's like, hey man, what are you gonna hit me with next?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I'm used to it. Yeah.
So I'm used to it. So that was kind of the concept.
Nice, all right. And speaking of which, again, spooky_Shay has asked, what's been your hardest obstacle in life that you've had to overcome? Getting deep here.
Oh, this one's easy. I have terrible anxiety, so that's definitely it. Because it's like anxiety will convince you things that aren't even true. Like,
right.
It creates trust issues between friends. It creates like, especially with music, because it's like you're really putting yourself out there. Like, you're giving deep parts of you to the world, and it's very easy to be like, oh, this is terrible now. Like, if it doesn't do well, it's very easy to be like, start getting worried and anxious and like, oh my God, I don't know about this and this and this and this, and you just overanalyze and overthink everything. So I would definitely say that, because I'm my own worst enemy. I am such a perfectionist because of that. I overanalyze and overdo. But that's definitely probably my biggest obstacle.
For sure, and for all of our viewers that are watching that and can relate to it, have you found anything that sort of helped with that?
Oh my God, I do everything that I can physically do. Meditation daily. What's crazy is cold ass showers.
Really?
Freezing cold, ice cold.
Wow.
My friend that's a producer, I was working with him, and he was like, yeah, I take a cold shower every day. And I was like, why?
That
and he was
sounds
like,
horrible.
because it shocks your body. Like, your body's like, what the hell's going on? And not your adrenaline, but your body kind of kicks into alert mode.
Yeah.
And your brain can't physically panic about getting all your tasks done during the day.
Yeah.
Because you're panicking about how fucking cold the water is.
Yeah.
And every day when I'm home from the gym, freezing cold shower.
Wow.
It makes an impact. I think everything else is like eating right, trying to manage your stress, managing how much time you're on your phone. Like, especially nowadays, like, I hate so much, like, I have to be on social media so much, because you got to update this, you got to release that,
Sure.
you got to do this. It's everywhere.
Sure.
So that can also lead to like ramping your anxiety, because you're constantly so much stimulus.
Yep.
Or stimuli.
Is this anxiety, does it mostly affect your sleep, or is it all sort of, I mean, if you're taking cold showers in the day, is it all the time?
It's all the time.
Yeah. But sleep
it's
as well?
constantly fizzling at like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Some days it's bad, some days it's good. Like, we were going to a birthday dinner the other day, and I'm sitting in the back of the car having a panic attack for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's very uncontrolled, and that's the thing, is like, I think people that have anxiety understand it's like you do your best to function, and there are ups and downs, and that's part of it. But definitely that's my biggest setback, because
Yeah.
I've become my own worst enemy.
For sure. All right. Well, I've got a couple of questions for you. The last one from these guys. Great questions, by the way. Like, you've crushed it. You made my job really easy. I could do this more often, actually. What are some pros and cons about being a musician?
Pros and cons. I think the pros are creating, like, at the end of the day, and not to sound egotistical or pretentious, like, you're creating art. And it's the sense of like, hey, you get to create art and people get to go, hey, that's cool. But at the same time, people get to go, hey, that sucks.
Yeah.
So at the same time, like, you do have to kind of be prepared to deal with that, which is okay. Just kind of like put your ego aside and be like, all right, cool. You don't like it, that's fine. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably didn't need to take time out of your day to tell me that you hate it, but that's cool.
It's like, all right, you hurt my feelings. That was a little hurtful, but no worries.
Like, there was no need to do that. You could have just carried on with your life. But thank you for taking that 5 minutes out of your life to write a hateful comment.
Thank you for punching me square in the face.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, there's definitely pros, because it's like seeing, like I said earlier, when we were talking about the impact, it's like seeing the impact you make is super dope. Like, you're influencing people, and I think that a lot of artists nowadays, depending like on the genre, sometimes they have this huge platform. Same with social media influencers and stars, and they don't address like issues that are going on. For example, like a lot of people won't talk about having to deal with anxiety. I'm an open book. I don't care. Like I'll talk about the stuff that I have to go through because I know a lot of other people have to go through it.
Sure.
So that is definitely a pro, is like, having that audience, having those people that you can influence and be like, hey, I'm gonna help you today. I'm gonna, do this and do this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely, I don't know. It depends. Cons is like, I think a lot of true artists are going through a lot of shit. You can hear it in everyone's music. A lot of my music is sad as fuck. Most of my music is really depressing. Because it's like, that's what comes out. You don't usually try to force stuff like that. You sit down, I'm gonna write a song. If it's depressing as hell, it's depressing
And
as
they're the
hell.
best ones, man.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Like the happy ones, like, yeah, you write the best songs when you're going through a breakup or whatever, like, it's just the way it goes,
Yeah, and there's numerous other pros. I mean, if you want to throw like playing in front of people and touring and all that other stuff, sure. But like, at the root of it, it's like, I enjoy being my own boss. I enjoy like, I'm independent. So
look, I got a couple of questions for you. But basically, I mean, look, like, your aesthetic on Instagram, the way you dress. How did this all come? Did this just come out naturally? Like, how did this all come together? You're Hollywood's little emo boy, right?
So starts in 6th grade. Actually, it did start in 6th grade. I got heavy into metal, like heavy into Bring Me the Horizon, Devil Wears Prada, Pierce the Veil, Say Yes and Under Oath, like all the huge.
You just never grew out of that phase, huh?
Oh no, I never grew out of it. Because I was listening to them like through middle school, and then I'd still listen to them in high school. And like, granted, like, I'd change like routes because I still listened to rap. Like, I remember being a huge Mac Miller fan, and I still am. And it would change every year, like what I'm still listening to, but I'd always go back to like my roots. I don't know. I'd probably like last month I was still listening to Linkin Park in the gym.
Yeah.
And like their old stuff, but. In 6th grade, I actually ended up getting bullied kind of bad because I would wear like band tees. I had long hair. I would wear like the checkered wristbands and paint my fingernails, and that was just me. And I just accepted it because that was part of the culture I was growing up on, basically, which was like rock and not punk rock necessarily, but like hardcore and screamo. And eventually I kind of like stopped because I was like, oh, I'm catching so much shit for this. But I still wear band tees and I was still always like kind of myself. And then eventually when I moved to LA, even when I was in college, I was still wearing all black all the time. But like, it was more conservative. It wasn't chains and everything like that. But over time, I kind of grew into myself more, where I was kind of like, yo, fuck everyone else. I'm gonna just do what I want, which is great because you get to that point, like I was saying, like if you're yourself, like people are just like, yep, that's Mike.
Yep.
Like, I don't think my friends get super excited when we go to a restaurant and I usually have makeup like smeared down my face. And they're like, yes, and this is our crazy friend. Like, this is our psychotic friend, Mike.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I tell everyone like online and everything to just like be themselves and not care.
For sure.
You're going to catch shit from everyone eventually. Like, just do you.
Yeah.
But that's where everything kind of came from, is like the rock background mixed in with me finally just being like, hey, I like this.
Nice, man, nice. And when, like obviously you've got this like crazy dedicated fan base. Like, when did that all start? When did things really take off for you? Do you remember a pivotal moment?
So I feel like I'm still not, I feel like I'm still waiting for that crazy pivotal moment, like that pop. But things like, it wasn't like, oh, this happened and then everything happened.
Yeah.
It was gradual. But I definitely think, like I talked about earlier, the guys like Sam and Colby, for example, their fan base, transferred over a lot because I started helping out them with videos and stuff like that. And then the thing is that anyone can provide, or not anyone, but like say someone does provide you exposure or an audience. How do you take those people and convert them into your fans? And like I said, I think that's where it comes into the marketing and the brand. And people are going like, oh, okay, this is very like, okay, this is interesting. It's got my attention. Let me at least go listen to the music. Oh, cool, I like the music. Oh, this is dope. Oh, okay, let's see more about this person. And I'm very open, very big personality, etc. Like, oh, cool, I like the personality.
Sure.
I like the do what you want, fuck everyone else personality. Cool, I actually, blah, blah, blah. And then you interact with people a little bit more and you show love just like they're doing. People start to like you.
Yep.
So I definitely think that's had a major role and a major impact on what I've been doing. And then, I had a couple songs. I think my biggest song, like We've Lost Touch, that definitely attracted a lot more attention, brought more people in, and then just keeping the ball rolling. I'm always releasing stuff. I don't like oversaturate with music, but you know, between like, okay, I'll drop like today, drop the music video. 2 weeks, I have a new song coming out.
Yep.
After that, I got merch coming out, and then a lyric video, and then another song, and the ball always rolls.
Yeah.
Like
Momentum's always there.
And then I have tour later this year. I can't say exactly when, but keeping it consistent is like nowadays really important. I think really important for artists, social media people, whatever you do, dancers, anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's so much going on that everyone's so ADD that it's like this. They're like, we're like squirrels now.
Yeah.
We're like, whoa. Like,
whoa,
so distracted,
whoa.
like dogs. Like, what is that? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Shiny.
yeah, so it's like, exactly. You can like go on for like 2-3 months and go hard as hell, but if you stop and take a 3-month break after that, everyone forgets about you.
Sure.
Like I can't. There's so many artists that I'm like, wow, his dude was popping last year. What is that dude doing now?
Exactly. Yeah.
People fall off really quickly, so it's just the consistency and just staying on top of yourself. That,
Yeah, bro.
I don't know. I think
Nice.
that's what's paid off.
That's it. All right. Last question.
All right.
Is today the day we're going to find out where the name Mike's Dead came from?
I knew you were gonna hit me with that. Today is not the day.
Today is not the day.
Today is not the
guys,
day.
It was worth a shot. I promise you I'd ask, and look, it's not. The time is not now. I better let this guy go because it's definitely been about an hour I've been hitting him with questions on. You've been an absolute champ. I really
Thank you,
appreciate it. Guys, you've been watching the How'd You Do It podcast, hanging out with the legendary Mike's Dead. My name is Xavier Brinkman. Mate, thank you so much.
Thank you, good sir.
Appreciate it. We'll catch you next week. Peace. If you like what you saw, make sure you check out some of our other videos right here, and also be sure to subscribe to our channel right here for new videos coming out every week.